All right, good day to all. It's Sam here with you on a Friday mid-morning here, January 26th. And being a Friday seems like a good time to get an update on Bitcoin. It continues to be somewhat elusive in giving us a clear path here of where it wants to go. So I thought we'd maybe just revisit it. Frankly, there's not a lot of change since the video I did last Friday. We're still kind of stuck in a range and can't seem to break out of it one way or the other. So here's the daily, which I've been using as a reference, the daily on Bitstamp. So it just remains this question. You know, if you look at it here, it's hard to argue with this formation here. It's textbook Elliott wave. We're right to the 618, right to the Vegas wave, lower parallel. It's all there. It's all there. We just can't seem to get any traction to get us on our path here to at least what would be the first algo target up here at 23,685. Just can't seem to break out of the range that it's in. So we are sort of stuck with this conundrum: is is the low in, or are we looking more likely as though something like this could be underway, where we'd have this working just as an A wave, take the B up to so you see how this would, from the market geometry, A wave here up to the B wave, get the upper parallel, which would not be unusual for a market to bounce between those parallels. You can see we line up here rather interestingly at the next 618 up here. So we get a golden pocket on this side coming out of this golden pocket on this side. So are we looking at that with ultimate resolution down here to the C wave here and the algo target that would be there relative to that 618? Or the dominant trend, right? So we always want to defer to the dominant trend, suggesting that we have a 4 here and we're heading up here to put in a new high and a 5. How do you know? Well, we don't have any clarity. So the best we can do is take it down to a smaller time frame. So here, this is my chart working off of the hourly. Now I'm changing exchanges here just for no other reason than I have a number of members that are working with us on Coinbase. So this is my work on it here, and I know this is a bit of a cluster here if you don't know what you're looking at here. So let me sort of try and clarify a little bit here. So I have this wicked off here for a couple of reasons. So let me pull that off. So all I've done here, I'm just working with these 3 pivots to put some median lines on this. Here's our pitchfork. We're in the 1.5 here lower parallel, and we just can't seem to get any traction. We can't get a clean impulsive wave either direction. Here, not the prettiest impulse, but at least we had a 5-wave structure, and we run right into the 50. Okay, boom, reaction. Now we don't. So that 50 has a target down here. Right, so that 50 has an algo target down here, which would line up with the negative 618 of the near-term resistance that we're running into. So we've got big resistance here implying a move down here, which would be consistent with that longer term. Again, do we get there that direction, or are we going to catch the 618? We don't know. Is this... it's harder to make a case that that's a 1 wave and we're putting in a 2. I suppose you could probably squeeze out 5 waves there, but it would be a stretch. It plays much more cleanly as a 3-wave correction of this 5 wave, which is why, I'm inclined to still think that we have more resolution to work through up here based off of this retracement of this 5-wave that we did get here. So I still am leaning to this as an A wave, B wave here. I certainly would be happy to reorient here and relabel this as a 1-2 heading off into a 3-4-5 for new highs, but I just can't get there yet. So until we break through this resistance up here, I think we're going to be stuck in a range. Now, so we can't be definitive about the fact that we're going up here, right? I mean, it's sagging as it is right now. It keeps trying to get some legs here and work up here, but this is still certainly a possibility. So how would that play? Well, so here you can see what it appears. It appears that you could probably make a case here that you've got a leading diagonal to start this C wave here. It's not pretty, but it's there. You could make the case that you have this, that you've got some sort of a 1, 2. There's an ABC into the 3. Yeah. Now I think you're more likely what you would have is this. Even that doesn't play. So, I mean, it's just ugly. There's just no definitive count here. So ABC, ABC, we just continue to be stuck in threes. We can't get a trend established. So, the complexity of this correction just continues, right? So it's a lack of conviction on either side. It's just not there. So what are we stuck with? Well, we get another ABC in here, and then we follow that with another ABC. Now these degrees are wrong here, so let's put those in a different degree here so we can make sense of it a little bit better. So if we go there, then we've got yet another ABC here. So we'll put that in blue. So we're just stuck. We're just stuck in a range. It's if you're a Bitcoin trader, this is frustrating, but this is allowing the alts to flourish, if you will. Let's the alts. They're not subject to the weight of Bitcoin falling that is often the case. So you're seeing better opportunities, unless you're trying to day trade this on smaller time frames, which I don't encourage. But unless you're trying to do that, I mean, there's some range here. I'm not saying that there's not, but we just don't have any clear trend. We're just stuck in a complex correction. So are we getting yet another ABC to put us? I mean, so you'd have to look at that and say, well, it's certainly possible that we're getting another ABC in here. So that's kind of what we're stuck with here. So that you put a pitchfork on that as well. Looks like we did a 78 here. So let me put that in original recipe. Yeah, I mean, you might, it's hard to love it. It's hard to love it. Let me pull that off. So, maybe so here we're going to run it into the 50 again, right at the median line. I don't have that completely dialed in, but it's pretty close. And it looks to me like we did a 786 here. Yeah, pretty much to the tick, if I get that right on. Yeah, so there's a 786. So yet again, just stuck in a range. Stuck in a range. So how could that play if we back out of that a little bit? ABC here. We need a 5-wave. Right now, all we've done, we're just correcting. We're just stuck. So do you see what we have here? We just have a series of internal retracements. We can't get an external. So we get a 5-wave. Then this stays internal here. So we get an internal retracement here also to the 786. So you notice the depth of these corrections are not insignificant. If I can get this hot, come here. All right, so from this low, we go to here, we run into the 50, we come to the 786. Now here, yet again, we run into the resistance here where you can see the 233, that resistance. Now we fall to the 786 again. We can't get out of this, but the depth of these retracements, not encouraging for bulls. That, unfortunately, I wish it were different. But these consistent 786. Now, that's common for B waves, right? So, this could roll over here yet again. So there's just again. So you can see, I'm frustrated just trying to get a handle on it myself. It just, until we get something impulsive where we can either consider it a completed C wave of a larger degree, or perhaps, maybe we've got, I guess you could, I can't even get a 1 wave out of that. It's just frustrating. I'm frustrated. So, maybe there's better opportunity other places, right? So we're just stuck in this range. And so I can't give you, much other than, a wait and see. I wish I could. Just threes and threes and threes. Internal retracement. So we move down here. This stays internal here. Internal retracement here. We get an ABC. This retracement stays internal here. Now so eventually we're going to break out of this, right? So if you look at it, eventually one of these is going to go external. We're going to take out a high, right? So you see this range here, we retrace here, internal retracement. Then this range here, we stay internal retracement. Then from this high to this low, we're still internal. Eventually, we're going to break out of this. And then maybe if we start to move impulsively, we can get a handle on where we are. But until we get more conviction one side or the other, and often it wouldn't surprise me if we saw it over the weekend, as has been Bitcoin's pattern, volatility on the weekends, until we get out of this range, we're just stuck. We're just stuck. So no trade is the trade, which sometimes is just the smartest thing to do. You sit on your Bitcoin. If you're uncomfortable or think that the bearish case is looming large and you're concerned about loss of value of your Bitcoin, you move it to a different currency. I mean, there's things you can do rather than just sit on your hands. I don't know. I'm not necessarily suggesting that, but you do have options. So we'll see what happens here. So you can see here we're about to run into this resistance here. Here's our 786. We didn't quite get there this time. Here's the 50. So this wouldn't make sense. That would be an awfully shallow C. Could we? Yeah, it's just I can't get a one wave there. So anyway, I'm getting redundant here because I'm frustrated. So we basically sit and wait and look for some clarity here. One of these is going to break external, and perhaps we get a 5 wave to give us some tell as to what's likely next. Now, we can't be definitive. These are only probabilities. Can we get something to imply that we have either a completion of a C wave up here, which would suggest to us lower prices, or are we going to start to go impulsive where we can say, okay, we've got the low. If I take you back here, sometimes when there's so much confusion on the smaller time frame, better to pull out to a larger time frame and say, again, where I started a week ago. I mean, if you brought that chart up and you weren't looking at Bitcoin, does that look like that low is in? It's hard to argue with that. It is. All right, guys. So this just leaves us all frustrated and wanting more. So we will just sit tight. When there's more clarity here, I'll be back to give it an update. Okay, that's it for now.